After regaining 50 of the 100 pounds I lost with keto and intermittent fasting, I was at a loss. My hormones got to a place where more fasting only led to exhaustion, and cutting carbs below 80 grams per day brought more of the same. As the pounds piled on, my health spiraled out of control. Depression, fatigue, anxiety, migraines, and low energy were becoming my new normal. And it wasn't until I quit worrying about what the scale had to say and I instead focused the little energy I had on just feeling like a human that my metabolism finally recovered and I was able to get back on track with weight loss. That's when I discovered a flexible dieting strategy that changed my life. But just because my diet was more flexible than before, that doesn't mean that I could eat whatever, whenever, while still reaching my goals. So whether you're in that place of desperation I found myself in after regaining half of what I lost, or you're just looking to give your current plan a boost, let's talk about the 5 fat loss hacks that helped me build a winning weight loss strategy that actually works. My first fat loss hack is to get a boost of protein early in the day. Tim Ferriss, the author of The 4-Hour Body, recommends eating 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up. The reason this hack is helpful is it kickstarts your metabolism while setting the pace for eating adequate protein throughout the day. But even before stumbling upon this advice, I began eating what I call a protein boost early in the day. And on the days that I added a protein boost, I found it so much easier to just naturally eat less for the rest of the day. And that's because your body mines for specific nutrients like the amino acids found in high quality protein. So whenever I had a protein boost, like 3 to 4 ounces of chicken breast or rolled up turkey slices, my body quit sending out the hunger signals that led to cravings and overeating. My second fat loss hack is to keep your food plan simple. I'm sure we've all heard the saying, variety is the spice of life. And that's because new and exciting experiences make life more interesting, right? But when it comes to a diet plan that works, you want it to be boring. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should eat boiled chicken and steamed broccoli all day every day, or even at all, especially since we've all tried boring diets like this and we've all failed miserably. What I mean by boring is figuring out a few key meals that work for your plan and then sticking to those meals most of the time. The reason simple works better is that learning the food combos that help you feel satisfied, that also fit into your calorie budget, simplifies the process. That way, you don't have to constantly figure out if you're able to fit new food combos into your macros. When you understand which meals work best for you, this takes a lot of the guesswork out of dieting. Plus, you won't screw up by accidentally eating something that makes you feel hungrier later that day. That way, you get to eat what you love every day while still working towards your goal. Let's take my flexible diet plan as an example. I start most days with a nutrient-dense protein shake. And while my ingredients change from time to time, the staple ingredients that fuel my workout and keep me full all morning always remains the same. My go-to fat loss lunch this past year has been either a sandwich or a wrap with plenty of turkey and veggies. I know from experience that eating somewhere between 4 to 5 ounces of meat is enough to fill me up for hours. And since I'm a girl that loves a crunch, I replaced my old staple of potato chips with these high-protein Quavo chips. Dinner is the one meal that I rotate more often. However, I still find myself cooking the same 5 to 8 meals each week. And even though I always plan every meal around protein, I always leave room in my calorie budget to indulge on carbs like pasta or potatoes without guilt. This is especially helpful since carbs help your body switch over to an anabolic state, which is necessary for good sleep. And that leads us into my third fat loss hack, which is to eat low carb by day while adding more carbs at night.
I'm Batman.
Even though I no longer follow any diet with a name, I still find value in keeping carbs lower during the day whenever fat loss is my goal. But since eating more carbs has been an important aspect of getting rid of the fatigue and migraines that I experienced after staying keto for too long, the compromise that I came up with was to start the day low carb while gradually increasing carbs as the day went on. So with fat loss in mind, while I do eat some carbs at breakfast, I focus mostly on protein and fat-heavy meals to help keep hunger lower earlier in the day. This means I typically eat less than 15 grams of carbs with breakfast, somewhere around 30 to 40 grams of carbs with lunch, and then somewhere between 50 to 80 grams of carbs with dinner. And starting your day with low-carb meals help you work with your natural circadian rhythm. Most people experience appetite troughs earlier in the day, and peaks of hunger occur later as your body starts to prepare for your overnight fast. And when you eat meals that are lower in carbs but higher in fat and protein, this helps you eat less overall calories with meals. So by taking advantage of lower calorie meals by day, I'm able to indulge in larger meals with a little bit of extra carbs for dinner. The fourth fat loss hack that makes weight loss easy is to save treats for the end of the day. The worst part of being on a diet is feeling like you're always on a diet. That's exactly the reason I include at least a small treat as part of my weight loss plan. But I do have two rules surrounding diet indulgences. Number one, I only have a treat if I can fit it into my calorie budget, and if I can't, then I have to remind myself that I could just make room for it tomorrow. And number two, I save my treat for the end of the day. The reason saving foods like a few squares of dark chocolate for the end of the day works is that these treats provide your body a dopamine hit. And once you experience those feel-good chemicals, the chances that you might crave even more throughout the day increases. So even if you go in with the best of intentions, you may find yourself unintentionally reaching for more all day long. But if you wait to indulge until the end of the day, there's less of a chance of overdoing your treat. One reason is that you've had the entire day to fill your body up with the nutrients it requires to thrive, which makes cravings easier to control. Another reason is you don't have a whole lot of time left in the day, which gives you less time to daydream over another hit of chocolate. Of course, if you're someone who tends to overdo treats, this will take some discipline. But instead of allowing dessert to trigger cravings for even more empty calories, train your mind to use the end of the night treat as a signal that you're done eating for the day. While this may seem difficult at first, the more you practice this habit, the more ingrained it becomes. Eventually, closing your eating window with a small indulgent just becomes a habit that helps you stay more compliant over the long term. Finally, the fifth fat loss hack that will help you stick to your diet is to give up overly restrictive diet plans and instead commit to a slow and steady approach. Even though you think you're taking the faster path to weight loss with a strict low-calorie plan that promises quick weight loss, this actually turns out to be a never-ending yo-yo diet for most women. If you want a diet where you not only lose weight, but you actually keep it off this time, your best bet is to take time to develop the right habits that you can stick to forever. So instead of rushing the weight loss process and completely rearranging your life by cutting out all carbs, only eating in a 2-hour window, committing to never touching a processed food again, only eating one food for the rest of your life, or drastically slashing calories, do yourself a favor and slow your roll. Weight loss doesn't have to come down to these all or nothing approaches. And if sustainable weight loss is your goal, all or nothing approaches are actually doing more harm than good. But when you lose weight in the same way that you plan to live for the rest of your life, then there's no need to constantly research all of the numerical diets. Because all you need to do is figure out a strategy to still eat the foods you love, but just eat less of them. After following far too many fad diets for over 30 years, I finally figured out that the foods I eat while losing weight have to be the same foods I eat while maintaining my weight. The only difference is, during a fat loss phase, I eat around 300 to 500 calories less of them, and I beef up the protein and veggies in order to stay fuller on less calories. And as long as I pay attention to calories and proteins, while also increasing activity, poof, fat loss is mine. Once I'm done with my diet, there's nothing really to change beyond eating a little bit extra at breakfast and lunch. Since I focus on slowly changing habits during the dieting phase instead of rushing the process by following strict diet rules that I absolutely hate, it's much easier to just keep doing what I've been doing. And that is how we win at weight loss long term, by dieting the same way you plan to eat forever, aka leaving all of these hard to stick to fad diets in the past. So now that you know the 5 fat loss hacks that helped me build a plan that is finally easy to stick to, let me know in the comments which of these habits you plan to add to your routine first. And if you want to learn 4 strategies you can use to make these hacks even easier, be sure to watch this video next. If you're ready to take your plan to the next level with the same system I've used to help hundreds of women lose stubborn weight by eating more, be sure to check the pinned comment. I'll add the link to set up a free coaching call to learn if one-on-one coaching is right for you.